goal for today. So somebody keep me honest as we go through our time together. Um, let's see here. Um, the next uh, slide here, let me put this in presentation view. I guess I should have done that before. Um, our agenda for today, we're going to do introductions. We're going to talk a little about who we are. As I mentioned, we're going to also share a story about Kids on Point and the great things, the work that they're doing down at in Charleston, South Carolina, with the program that's focused really to drive those results and see growth. And then we're going to open it up for some Q&A and then kind of share with you on where you can see us next and find us next as we're out on the road and doing some great work over the next few months. So a little bit about who you have on the call today. You have your fantastic team from North Carolina. You got Jamie Quinn and Dee Baloez, and you have Candace Rice and Nicole White join us. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much. It's good to have you all with us today. And you also have Eddie join us, and I'm not sure if Emily's out there or not. She might be on site. Then you have myself and Sabrina Jenkins. And so we're Eddie and I are and Emily and Sabrina cover the South Carolina team while the other folks cover the North Carolina team. So it is a pleasure to have you all with us. A little bit about who we are as a company. We are really an educator first company, and that's right in the center of my screen. And that's what we do is we provide partnership with educators around the globe. And as you can see here, we support over 5 million students annually, and we're proud to sponsor with over 8,000 schools and districts globally across the United States and international. But really what we do is we provide a comprehensive approach to learning. We provide tools that are designed for that assessment to learning, digital curriculum, and that instructional services component. So if you're considering any of these options, even if you have a teacher shortage and you need us to help fill gaps, we can do that with a South Carolina or North Carolina certified teacher, pair that with a curriculum, and provide you guys with a teacher record in that state or in that subject area if you need. So, but we can also do some other exciting things with our programs. And this is really an outline of each one of the products that we have here at Edmentum. And this really summarizes the umbrella that we provide and the programs that are there. And the one that we're going to focus on today is ExactPath. And ExactPath is a diagnostic-driven instruction really to help drive student growth. And so you're going to hear more about that and a little bit more about what they're doing at Kids on Point and how you might implement this at your school or your building or your district. So without further ado, that's enough about who we are. I want to spend most of our time talking about Kids on Point, and it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce you to Ms. Stacia Bennett from Kids on Point. She is their Director of Curriculum and Instruction there. And just a little bit of background before I turn it over to Stacia, but Kids on Point is a nonprofit organization that serves the inner city students of Charleston, South Carolina. And so really taking those students that are come from underprivileged neighborhoods and providing support services for the students that attend Charleston County School District. And they have students that come on site with them in the afternoon to help provide both academic as well as social emotional learning support, as well as wellness support, really to provide those wraparound services. And so they are a true partner to the students in Charleston County School District. We at Edmentum became involved with Kids on Point through our nonprofit arm, which is We Can Learn. And through We Can Learn, we provide programs to other nonprofit organizations that are doing that educational work in our communities. And so we are fortunate enough to have partnered with Kids on Point, and they are able to utilize the ExactPath program. And so it is my distinct honor to turn this over to Ms. Stacia Bennett. And so, Ms. Bennett, if you will come off mute and just tell us a little bit more about the story there at Kids on Point. I know I gave a summary, but give us a little bit more look into what actually you guys do there, what your mission is, what your goals are, and how you guys are implementing it and seeing results there, Kids on Point.
Certainly. Thank you so much for the introduction, John Robert. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be with you. So I am Stacia Bennett. I'm the Director of Operations at Kids on Point, and I've been with the program for about 2 years now. And part of the work that we do is that we really want to empower and embolden our students to really realize their potential by providing them with access, opportunities, and exposure to things outside of their normal day-to-day activities. So we have 3 areas of focus being academics, athletics, and enrichment. Our athletic sport of choice is squash, which is basically indoor tennis, to those of you who are unfamiliar. So students come to us 4 days out of the week. They stick with us from 3rd grade, and we track them to their senior year and beyond, because relationship building is at the heart of what we do. So we really work with those students and their families from elementary school all the way up to post-secondary support. Once the pandemic hit, we noticed a lot of deficiency in our students' academic performance, and not so much in them not knowing what the standards were or how to do curriculum. We just noticed a lot of unfinished learning, so to speak. So we started brainstorming how we could better support our students. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if we had a platform that did an assessment and then generated a path for them to go through to work on those standards where they need improvement. And then Edmentum came into our lives and we found Exact Path. And that software has been influential in how we really deliver academics to our students, because hands-on learning experiences is something that is integral to our academic program. And with Exact Path, we're able to really give our students that personalized learning experience. And when I say experience, we're really able to simulate their senses so they can see something, smell something, move, and really engage with the standard and a content that's meaningful for them. And so we just wrapped our first full year of implementation. So last summer, we started with our first cohort of Edmentum students. They took the diagnostic in reading and math, and then we worked with those students year round, and we just wrapped testing this last spring. And we compared our results from last summer to this spring, and we saw incredible gains. In fact, our math performance scores went up by 57 points overall, and our reading scores went up by 36 points. So we were excited to see that transformation, to know that we are really supporting our students and teachers in the work that they're doing in the school day. Of course, there were some challenges that we had to overcome, because students just finished a full school day and now they're coming and they're having to do more learning online. So of course, we had to get those students to buy in. So we had to be creative on how we engage them and how we presented the platform to them in general. Like, okay, this is not a test. It's not for a grade. We just want to see what you know. And based on that, we want to help you learn more and improve and master skills so that we can support you. So when we presented it as a way of us wanting to help them, they were more willing to invest their time and take the diagnostic seriously and spend time in the platform. Based on our experiences, we know that that daily usage is important, because if students aren't in the platform routinely, we won't see the growth or the drops that we expect to see with data, because learning happens both on an incline and on a decline. And we really want students to understand that learning is not a straight up path. You're going to have some dips, you're going to have some high points, you're going to have some low points, but just know in that path of learning, we here at Kids on Point are here to support you. And so it's been an exciting process. We've learned a lot from our students, and we are so thankful for the program, because the data and the information that we're able to collect from it really informs our instruction so that we can work one-on-one with students on those standards in which we see them having a bit of a more challenge with. And I know I gushed a lot just now, so I'll take a moment to pause and see if there are any questions.
I'll throw in one.
Okay.
So you said you were talking about getting buy-in from those kids. Like, what does that process look like? How do you like campaign or get them to really engage that curriculum? Because if you're getting 50 points of growth, I mean, they're not just doing it; they're truly engaging that content. How do you make that happen?
Okay, so right away, or when we have our registration opens and students are signing up, we do parent and student orientation sessions. So we talk about the academic program and we introduce Exact Path as a unique feature, that this is a part of the program and this is what we expect from you. So they already know that they're going to be tested and that they'll have some measurements for success. So we present that information right up front so that everyone's on the same page. And we tend to announce when testing is coming up because our students don't like surprises. Like, what? We got to take the diagnostic today? You didn't tell us. And so we've gotten in the habit of announcing it weeks in advance, like, okay, at the end of October, we have our diagnostic coming up. You're going to do reading, math, and language arts. So they really like having those dates in advance so they can kind of prepare themselves. And we also have to be intentional with when we scheduled our diagnostic testing as well, so that we don't interfere with MAP testing or any other standardized testing that may be happening in schools, because we don't want our students to be overwhelmed or come to us stressed, because stressed brains can't learn. So we were really deliberate in when we scheduled our diagnostic testing so that it did not conflict with any other formal assessment that they had going on. So in addition to communicating those dates, we also incentivize the testing process because, as you all know, the diagnostic is very customized to each individual student. So the length and the question amount varies from student to student, which is something that was an adjustment for our kids because they were like, okay, well, how many questions are on it? And so I was like, well, I can't really give you an exact number, but I want you to try your best. And the best, or when you do your best, the system will make sure that it gets your highest performance. So just answer the questions until you've done your best. And when you've done your best, the system will let you know. And so we had to have that conversation, but we incentivize it by saying for every question you answer, you get a volley dollar. And a volley dollar is simply our own in-house currency that students can use to purchase various food items or toys or activities when we have shopping day, which is usually on Thursdays. We also went about engaging parents in what we were doing with Exact Path because we wanted them to know that we are really concerned about supporting students however we can. And so we sent out parent letters to let them know, hey, we've started testing. This is the results that your students received. This is what we plan to use the information for. Let us know what questions you have and if you're available to come in to do some reading or math instruction in small groups. So making sure that we communicate both to students, to parents, and really make the testing process less stressful and more of a celebration. Like, yes, it's Exact Path testing time. Let's see how much you've grown. So we really do have those conversations around growth and not just, this was your score, tough luck, see you next time, but really having the students involved. Like, okay, well, this is what your reading score was last summer. This is what your reading score is now. What do you think's going on? How can we do better? Or what standard do you find most challenging? Is it theme? Okay, well, let's schedule a time to talk more about theme because we want to make sure you understand this. So really engaging students and parents in the process. So it's not a have to, it's more like oh, I get to show what I know. And the students really feel supported and that they're not being penalized for what they don't know, but just having that support that, okay, well, I may not know this, but Miss Stacia, Miss Denise, they're going to work with me so that I know this and then some. So it's been really exciting.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, did you say it was called volley dollars?
A volley dollar, yes. And that's a squash term. So we just kind of pulled it in there and get our money.
I love it. I love it. That's pretty good. John Robert, I don't want to hijack it, but I do have some more questions.
Yeah, throw them out there. I'd love to hear from any others. If you got others, if folks are on the call, chat in to questions, go ahead and throw those. I got to spend some time yesterday with Miss Bennett, and so I threw out some questions to her, and she really kind of walked me through. But yeah, please feel free to throw those out there.
So how do your students engage Exact Path? Like, is that the opening activity, or is that the meat of what you do in your after school hours? I see you do it during the summer as well. Tell me kind of what the day looks like, or the format is. I'm interested in that.
Certainly. So students come to us Monday through Thursday. and they arrive as early as 3, and then they usually get a snack from about 3 to about 3:30, and then they dress out to get in their squash gear, their athletic gear, and programming starts at 4. We usually have a team meeting where we do announcements, a little team building, some games, and then block 1 starts at 4:15 and runs until 5 o'clock. And then block 2 starts at 5:10 and runs until about 5:50. And within those blocks 1s or block 2, students are either in academics or at squash in athletics, or perhaps they're in an enrichment activity. So their schedule varies from day to day, but it's those 3 areas of focus being academics, athletics, and enrichment. During those academic sessions, students have the option to work on homework in small groups with a tutor that we have. We have a really good partnership with the College of Charleston. So those college students usually come in to help support those students with their homework. And then about twice a week, they have the option to work on exact path learning, where they go into their learning path and work on various tasks. We also provide one-on-one support for those students who are working on their learning path, because learning is always better when you have a partner. And so usually we'll group the students together to work in small groups if they are on the same content, or we'll pair them again with a volunteer or lead mentor to just be that guide on the side to ask questions and keep everything on task. So our goal is to make sure that our elementary students, grades 3 through 5, spend at least 30 minutes a week in the platform at a minimum. If they go above that, awesome. But as long as they're hitting that 30 minutes a week, we are confident that when it does come time to do the diagnostic test again, that we will see the results that we're anticipating, which is of course growth. But in the event that we do see a drop off, that's when we open up those lines of communication and have those conversations with students, and where we as a team kind of strategize in the event we see that all of our 4th graders from mid-major elementary are struggling with 10th place or place value in general. And our academic coordinator will create that lesson to do a small group session with those particular students, and perhaps reach out to those individual teachers to see how we can be supportive of those students specifically and really carry on the learning that they start in the school day.
Super cool. All right, I'm not gonna commandeer it anymore. Somebody else got to go, or I'm going to ask some more questions, because I could ask. I'm really interested in how you're helping those kids down there. I want to come visit when I'm down there close, if you'll have me.
Yes, come on down.
Right. There was a question in the chat from Cynthia. Do you use any additional strategies to motivate students that may just want to click through so they can be done? Like, so, they're getting their time in, but what other strategies? And I know within the program, there are certain things that are there that we probably haven't mentioned, but just curious what you guys do there, Ms. Bennett.
Yes, so we can definitely see how much time they're spending in the lessons and on the diagnostic. And we have conversations with our students. We are big advocates of restorative practices. So when we do see those students just clicking through, we have those conversations like, hey, your diagnostic had 51 questions and you did it all in 8 minutes. Do you think that was your best work? And so when we have those conversations, we're really able to get to the root of what was going on. So for example, there was an instance like that, and that student had a bad day. They just had a bad day. They didn't want to do it. And they didn't feel like doing it. So they just clicked through so that they wouldn't bring attention to themselves. But once we kind of took a step back and really opened up the space so that the student felt safe and comfortable sharing, we were able to learn what had happened during the school day to address that basic need, and then talk about the academic performance. So when we do see those click-throughs, that's when we have those conversations. And usually there's a deeper issue at hand. And that's, of course, where we have to apply our behavioral management strategies, our communication skills that we share with students, as well as perhaps calling in our student support specialist, who really specializes in students articulating their feelings and really sharing what's going on with them so that we can better support them. Because that is, again, something we've noticed with students, that they need some more support and some more tools on how to manage their emotions, how to articulate their emotions, and again, how do they share something that makes them feel less than, or something that makes them feel vulnerable. So really having those conversations with students has been insightful in how they approach the assignment. And again, we can see the time that they spend in the platform real time and really dive in and have those conversations, because we do have the support in place with our volunteers and with our staff to really give that one-on-one attention to students.
Stacey, do you guys utilize the trophies earned within the program to motivate students like at all? Do you guys use that as a motivator within
Yes.
the program?
It is. It definitely is a part of it, because students earn those trophies as they progress through the platform. And so we love that that is embedded in the platform itself, because it echoes exactly what we do at our program, because we give students those moments to really celebrate their learning and their accomplishments. At the end of each 6 weeks, once students have finished their diagnostic testing, we do awards at our eye care party. And that is where we really acknowledge those students who've grown academically, whether it be by 1 point or by 50 points. We celebrate the growth that we see across the board. And in addition to that, they have that tangible certificate from us, and then the trophies in exact paths. So the incentivizing goes both ways, so that students really become intrinsically motivated to do good and to perform and to do their personal best, and not really focus on what others might be doing or how others are growing, but really invest in themselves, what they need to do in order to be successful. We also do goal setting with our students. So once they've done that diagnostic, we have that conversation about their performance, and they set their own goal as to how much they want to grow come the next testing round. And that is really powerful and great to see when that student exceeds their own expectations, and they did it all by themselves. And so we always celebrate that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that conferencing goal piece component, because I think that's the part that is so hard to so easy to miss. We just, hey, take this diagnostic, get your learning path and get going, but it's really about having those conversations and connections and letting those students set a goal, and then working to achieve that goal. And that goes right back to what you said at the beginning about learning occurs also in the dip, as also as you increase as well. And I wrote down that, and then I wrote down another one, a stressed brain can't learn. Several things that I heard you say over our last few minutes together that really are takeaways for me. So any other questions that you guys have, feel free to come off mute. We've got a pretty small crowd here, so feel free to come off mute. But we had several folks join a few minutes late, but just to recap, this is Stacey Bennett. Kids on Point is a nonprofit organization that serves the students in inner city Charleston area down in Charleston, South Carolina, and they use a program called Exact Path that's provided by Edmentum, and our nonprofit organization Edmentum is We Can Learn. And so we've partnered with, We Can Learn has partnered with Kids on Point to share that resource to them to help them have an impact for the students there in the inner city of Charleston and serving students in Charleston County School District. So feel free to come off mute if you have questions. Stacey, is there anything else that you wanted to add as well as we wait on questions?
Can you repeat your question, John Robert? I think
I just said, oh, that's fine. I was just asking if there's anything else you wanted to add to your talk track as we wait on some other folks if they had any questions.
Oh, yes. So we are excited for our partnership with We Can Learn, because it gives us access to a platform that we would not otherwise have. And it's really met the need, because again, our mission is to give students opportunities for access and exposure. And so oftentimes our students don't have the option to have a private tutor or have the option to stay after school to be tutored by their teacher, because they have to get on the bus to get home, or they have to walk home because they have to get to their siblings. So having this platform has really enabled us to give students access to extend their learning and to continue their learning outside of school hours. And it's been very powerful for our students, especially when they see and witness their own growth from diagnostic to diagnostic. And I'm looking forward to talk to our 6th graders when they go to take that test in 8th grade. And we have all that information to show them on what they've learned in their time with us, coupled with what they've learned in school. And it really just contributes to their own academic narrative, because students remember a lot. They're like, yeah, I remember when I failed my test, and then I came in and you and I worked together on it, and then I passed. And I'm like, yes, you did that. And it really gives them the chance to take ownership of their learning and really feel empowered to know that they can learn, they can do that well, and they can conquer whatever is challenging them because they are empowered to do so, because they have the resources and the tools. So yes, Exact Path has done wonderful things for us, and we're excited about continuing our partnership in the years to come.
Thank you, Stacia. Any other questions out there? Jamie and Nicole, I know one thing too that we talked about was growth and proficiency, and we talked a lot about growth on this call and the growth that they've seen there. But I can't help but think that students, you got to get them to a point where they can be proficient in what they're working on, right? And so we've got to close those skill gaps, and we got to go back to getting the basic reading and math fundamentals there before you even talk about proficiency. And Stacia, one thing that is coming out, which will be available in the next few weeks, is within the Exact Path, you guys will have the ability to basically assess proficiency on grade level standards. And so you can actually assign, topics around place value right there within Exact Path and see if kids, a quick formative assessment to see if students are grasping that one concept on place value, if you want that quick check of understanding. And so that's something that we're calling our standard mastery that we're turning on within Exact Path. It'll be available, I think, in the next week or so. November 1st, I think, is actually when it's the go live date. But if any folks are out there that have Exact Path now, want to add that on, please feel free to talk to your rep about that, myself, Jamie, Nicole, or Eddie. And we can work with you guys and share a little bit more about what that looks like and what that means, and some of the reporting features that you'll get back on that. So, Jamie, anything else you want to throw in before we conclude? I said 30 minutes and we're at 27.
One thing, thank you. That's awesome. I'm super happy that you carved out some time to come hang out with us. I see people's heads shaking. Yep, you are. What you're doing down there is great, and I hope that you're getting the recognition that you deserve. Because man, I worked in a suburban district most of my career, and there were a lot of students that it seemed like people kind of forgot about, and just the connections that I made, just like you're talking about being willing to have those conversations with kids. I mean, it's life changing, and you've inspired me just in 20 or 30 minutes. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. It's been a joy to be with you all and share Kids on Point story, because Exact Path has meant so much to us.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stacia.
No, I'm good. Yep. Thank you, Stacia.
Yep. Any other questions before we wrap up? Feel free to come off mute. Last chance. All righty. Well, without further ado, we'll conclude our call. Thank you guys for taking a few minutes to join us today. I told you we were not going to keep you the full hour, so I'm giving you some time back on your calendar today. So
John Robert, you want to tell everybody where we're going to be?
Oh yeah. Sorry, Jamie. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Just as I closed out my my share screen here, but we're going to be next week or so. Eddie and I are going to be at the South Carolina Ed Tech Conference, and I think Jamie and Nicole have the AIM conference coming up on October the 29th. So we got two things going across North and South Carolina next week, and then NC Pop-Up there in North Carolina is going on, I think, November the 11th, November 16th through the 18th. And we have a couple sessions that are taking place at each one of those conferences. So please come join us, come see us. And we'd love to hang out with you guys over the next week or so as we're out on the road. So please feel free to stop by and say hello. Thanks for the reminder there, Jamie. All right. Anything else, guys? Y'all take care. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend. Thanks, Stacia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.